5 and 80 participants, ranging anywhere from 59 one night to 56 one night to 159 as a maximum number.
One of the dangers of a changing community like University Heights, or a community that's diverse, is that people get scared of their neighbor when their neighbor is not of the same race as they may be, or is not of the same religious persuasions.
We found out that we have 14 races, 15 religions, 19 second languages, and 52 different ancestral nationalities represented in the city of University Heights. I think the most surprising was the fact that we have 19 different languages spoken in the city. That's a rich diversity.
The nicest group for me has been when we've had the mix with the young Unity students from the high school. They have been such a unique group of young men and women, and I think some of the people who tend to be longtime residents and sometimes elderly don't mix with some of the today's high school students at Cleveland Heights High, and they seem to be the best of the best.
Coming into high school, I had a lot of stereotypes of people, and Unity, it focuses mainly on diminishing those stereotypes and learning who people are before you judge them, and teaching you that you should do that. And I came to this to know more about my community and what I can do to help, because I realized that there is a huge problem in this world about judging people and not listening and not respecting.
We think we add a unique blend to the program by having the student leadership through the facilitation process with adult leaders. Gives it a nice blend with youth, young adult, and older adults, so that the perspectives of the youth can be heard, and that the residents of the community can get to know some of what's going on at the high school with our young people, some of the positive things that are happening. And it provides them an opportunity to get some affirmation of things they may have read about through history, to hear from people who lived through some of the experiences that are often brought up by the older adults.
Sometimes people think that you're preaching to the choir, and they say, well, all the people who are here tonight, these aren't the ones who need to be here. There are all these other people who need to be here. Well, that may be true to a great degree, but they are encouraged to go out and go mad, as I say, make a difference.
It makes a difference if we can get at least one person's family to recognize the importance of diversity, and that one person's family tells their sisters and brothers and cousins and aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews that it's important, then that will spread, and we hope that that spreading is a good thing.
I think that what they can do when they come home is to really look at their neighbors differently, look at the people in the community differently, and reach out.
I find that many times what they're doing, what they think they're doing, is coming to find out about other people, about them. And then they discover, oh, there's some things that I need to do differently. Maybe I need to check that out about myself.
It's one-on-one change originally, and then that one-on-one change has a multiplicity effect to change someone else, and on and on and on.
If you can change one person's mindset and recordings, then you've made a difference. And of course we'd like to affect all 15,000 members of our population, but you have to start and you have to continue.
Good news travels fast. We like to think that that's what's happening.
But it is not enough just to pay lip service to diversity, nor is it enough to have different cultures represented in an institution. There must also be a commitment to promote better relationships between different groups. My husband, Martin Luther King Jr., once said that like life, racial understanding is not something that we find, but something that we must create. The ability to work together, to understand each other, will not be found ready-made, he said. It must be created by the fact of contact. We have to be together before we can learn how to live together.
we have such a better understanding of why this program was so important to Mayor Rothschild. Thank you for all the work that you do to create understanding in University Heights and beyond. Well, we'd like to invite Margaret now, Beryl's daughter, who wants to share a few personal remarks.
My Mother, the Mayor. A great title for a novel, I always thought. But her larger-than-life true story is the real McCoy, another term she often used, as someone who blazed her own trail before many women were involved in politics, especially in high-ranking positions, and one of the longest-serving. In the words of Governor John Kasich at his Rock Hall event during the RNC, your mother was a true pioneer. I remember riding my bicycle at age 6 as she canvassed door to door, introducing herself as a candidate for city council. That's when I was first exposed to politics, and the seed was planted that a woman could do anything she set her mind out to do. We had an equal opportunity household. As I got older, I helped campaign, deliver literature, and even talk to the residents about how my mother was running for mayor. She became mayor when I was 16. We were all jubilant that night, and of course I thought it was very cool and now celebrity status to be the mayor's daughter, but was quickly brought down to earth when she said that I was to avoid getting into the newspaper for any reason or publicly embarrass her for anything that I would do. And there are a few close calls, I'll admit. Some of you in this room, no. But fortunately, my friends and I stayed out of the police blotters. My father became the equivalent of the first gentleman of University Heights, a title and role he loved all of his days. I don't think I really realized how much she did until I was out of college and establishing my own career. Whenever I met someone who made the connection that I was Beryl's daughter, they would say, "Your mother is a dynamo. She's fabulous, well-respected, great mayor, great person and leader, pistol, tough." But a few would say, "Your mother's definitely opinionated. Don't want to cross her." Or, "Wow, you're a lot taller than your mom." And I would say, yes, she is small but mighty. And in later years, I called her the incredible shrinking woman. It seemed every time I saw her, she appeared smaller and smaller, and I became taller and taller. And I was kind of tall for my family, which is, amazing. But most people were quite fond of her, and even if they disagreed with her ideas, most people respected her. As her tenure grew longer, I realized the magnitude of her impact across the Cleveland community, the state, and even nationally. She truly was a woman of great distinction and was recognized by her peers as a person of achievement, receiving many accolades and awards. When she retired, she didn't have a chance to organize her files. I'm not sure they were ever organized, but 100 boxes arrived in her garage, and they sat there for a couple years. I still have some of them. But as I started going through her stuff, it touched me deeply when I discovered she had saved years and years of congratulatory letters, notes, holiday cards, and thank yous. She saved every card, letter, note that you wrote to her in baggies, and I felt my duty to look through them. And once I started reading them, I couldn't stop, as I truly grasped how deeply she touched people and how every word that was written meant so much to her. And at that moment, I was really, truly humbled. My mother was a very strong person and role model for many women, as she broke the glass ceiling at that time. I remember she was always going to meetings, and sometimes I had to get on her calendar, but she always managed to make time for her family and friends. I think it's difficult sometimes to be a Jewish Republican and a woman, especially in those days, because so many expected that she should naturally be a Democrat. But she was actually a moderate conservative with fiscal Republican values, and yet she had liberal views on many issues. She enjoyed her extensive involvement in the Republican Party and attended 2 Republican national conventions. The only election she lost was when she ran for Congress against Louis Stokes, but she had a great time making a go of it, and so did we. In speaking with employees of the city, they have always felt a sense of loyalty to my mom and enjoyed working under her leadership because, in the words of Fire Captain Fan, she made everyone feel like they were valuable and that their contributions mattered. My father always joked that she was the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy of University Heights, but I think she was also part mother, psychologist, friend, and had a great ability to read and motivate people. She would joke that some of the goings-on in the city were just like those in the old TV show Barney Miller. As I sat at her retirement party, As I said at her retirement party, the Jewish expression tikkun olam means repairing or perfecting the world. The term is often used in the sense of a commitment to social action and that our job as human beings is to make the world a better place while we're here. And that embodies what my mom has done throughout her life and career. It has been an honor and privilege to be the mayor's daughter for over 40 years, a title I have cherished. Not everyone you know gets to be one. So it has been a special and treasured part of my being, and words can't express how proud I am of my mother's accomplishments, as she was an inspiration to so many. When she retired only 8 years ago, it's hard to believe it was only 8 years ago, she really didn't have an exit plan. My father got ill, and she no longer had a daily sense of purpose. It's very true that when you're out of office, you're out. I'm not sure she ever got over it, as it was a huge letdown. I asked, do you wish you would have retired sooner and had more time to enjoy it with Dad? And she said, nope, I loved every minute of it, even though there were challenges. I wouldn't trade it for a minute and would do it all over again. I know she had aspirations to write a musical comedy about OPERS, which is the Ohio Public Employee Retirement System, or perhaps write a book on her memoirs, but unfortunately those never came to be. The outpouring of hundreds of condolences and responses to the Facebook postings have been really overwhelming and heartwarming. Mom, your presence will always be with Dan and me and your family near and far. I hope your spirit will carry on through everyone here today and all who knew you and were touched by your grace and your laugh, which was contagious. And to my children, Alec and Madeline, I hope you now realize that your Nana was truly a remarkable person and that her dedication to public service for 42 years was exemplary. You will always be remembered in our hearts and minds. My mother, the mayor, we love you and will truly miss you. And I would like to thank Rabbi Caruso, Mayor Infeld, Susan Carver, Kelly Thomas, Jay Goldfarb, and all the participants today who helped make this wonderful tribute to Mayor Rothschild exceptional and unforgettable. Whoops. And to all of you who have supported her, voted for her, enjoyed her, disagreed with her, respected her, and loved her, you have my gratitude. I think she is smiling at our vision of the multicultural funeral she always said she wanted, but she'd probably say, this was too much.
I'd like to take this moment to acknowledge all those who are here today who are former or current public servants and officials. If you would just stand at your seats, we just would like to acknowledge you and thank you for being here today. I know from Beryl's family, they are very, very thankful for your presence. Thank you very much. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. Let us just take a moment, consider the gifts that Beryl brought to each one of our lives. Just pause and let those memories flow through us. And now, if you are able, I invite you to please rise for the recitation of El Malei Rachamim, the Jewish memorial prayer. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamsei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina. Bemalot kedoshim utorim. Kezor rakiam mazirim et nishmat. Beryl bat Menachem v'Margalit shalcha leolama. Began Eden tehei menuchata. Ana bala rachamim hastireha. Beseter knafecha leolamim. Utror bitror achayim et nishmata. Adonai unachalata. V'tanuach beshalom al mishkava. V'nomar Amen. Amalei Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure. To the soul of Beryl Shapiro Rothschild, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. As we turn to the conclusion of our service, word of announcement before pallbearers come up and we are led out by yet another cultural piece. Family will be receiving friends, close friends and close colleagues after the service at Geraci's Restaurant, 2266 Warrensville Center Road, just happens to be across the street from City Hall. So that'll be after the graveside burial. If you'd like to join tonight, fittingly, Beryl's family will meet from 7 to 9 at O'Reilly's Pub, 13149 Cedar Road in University Heights. And then tomorrow, Margaret, Brian, Daniel, and the family will be sitting at their house, at Margaret's house. That's 4463 High Ridge Trail in Akron. That's tomorrow from 2 to 4 and 7 to 9. Again, right after graveside burial, Geraci's, 7 to 9 at O'Reilly's Pub tonight, and then tomorrow 2 to 4 and 7 to 9 at Margaret and Brian's home.
cemetery? Yeah. Jay? Okay, I'll put it in the front seat.
Yeah, that might be best.
Well, he says cemetery, you say limousine, which one?
No, the plant was going in the limousine.
Okay.
This is going to cemetery.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.